Peace, it's your brother YK The Truth, and today I will be talking about Juneteenth and how the Pretendians are on a mission to steal more African history. Okay? They attacked the slave trade. The slave trade is a hoax.
They told us that we came over here in the bottom of a boat. They didn't tell us it was a 3-month journey. We thinking that it was a couple-day journey. You know, it was a 3 to 4 month journey. And they say they had us packed like sardines. We didn't move for 3 months, but now they saying that they let some of us come up and they rotated us out. Whatever.
They want to say things like, well, Martin Luther King said we were already here.
Before the Pilgrim Fathers landed at Plymouth, we were here.
Let me show you how they sound. Before the Pilgrims landed on Plymouth, we were here. Mind you, the first Africans brought to America was in 1619. So when he say,
before the Pilgrim Fathers landed at Plymouth, we were here,
that was 1620. Then he said, what he said?
Before Jefferson etched across the pages of history the majestic words of the Declaration of Independence, we were here.
Before Jefferson wrote the Independence, we was here, right? The Independence was 1776. The first Africans was born 1619. Before
the beautiful words of the Star-Spangled Banner were written, we were here.
That was in what? The 1800s. The first Africans was brought to America in 1619. So technically, we were here 1619.
Something is wrong here. Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway.
Charles, thank you very much.
Dead giveaway.
Stop taking Martin Luther King out of context. This is how you know these Pretendians are desperate.
Thank you very much.
Dead giveaway.
So let's get to Juneteenth. Now they want to say that the Indians were misclassified as Africans now.
So as y'all can see, the Karankawa Indians was reclassified as African and Negro slaves, and Juneteenth has to do with them.
What is Juneteenth? The holiday's origin story begins in Galveston, Texas. Oh, okay, so it's in Galveston, Texas. All right, Texas. Not the whole of America, North America, right? Texas.
You know why? You're about to read why. Because they had already been free 2.5 years. But the slaveholders in Texas had kept the information to themselves.
They had technically already been freed 2.5.
That's why it's a holiday. That's why it's in Texas. See, these dudes be trying to sound deep when they just sound like a fool. Why Texas? Why not the whole of the United States? Because Texas still had slaves, even though they were free 2.5 years prior. That's why. Let's let you read it.
Galveston specifically, which was the westernmost area of the Union in 1865. When enslaved people there were told of their emancipation on June 19th, 1865.
Shut up, dummy.
So you already know that he didn't even know this history. Because he said, why Texas? Why not the whole United States?
The holiday's origin story begins in Galveston, Texas. Oh, okay, so it's in Galveston, Texas. All right, Texas. Not the whole of America, North America, right? Texas.
Shut up, dummy.
The holiday's origin begins in Texas because of the fact that they were free, but they weren't told they were free. Cootie Mayo.
Have years prior, when the president.
I told you this is going to be a real body bag. You're not going to come here and play with African history because you don't know how to read and you take stuff out of context and you cherry pick. You're not a scholar. Let's keep going.
Abraham Lincoln, all right, we know him, the so-called Negro man, Abraham Lincoln, very swarthy.
La-dee-dee, they la-dee-dum is dummy.
Issued the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863. So the enslaved people that was there. So who was the enslaved people that was there?
I'm going to tell you who were the enslaved people that was there. You had Indians that was enslaved. You had Africans that was enslaved. And you had mixed people of African and Indian ancestry that were enslaved. We're not taking away the fact that it was only Africans. Okay? Let's keep going.
Oh, so-called African Americans, right? Now they're calling them African Americans. So that's who they're saying is being enslaved there, right? So who's these so-called African Americans? We've already debunked that whole so-called African American tag, right?
You didn't debunk anything. Shut up. Y'all always screaming y'all debunked something when you didn't. Just because you thought you debunked it don't mean you debunked it. And I'm about to debunk you. Let's keep going.
Right, guys? Let's get specific, right? We're at the point where we got to start getting specific. I hope there's a lot of Pan-African believers out there. And I hope you guys pay attention today. We got to start getting specific. Prove to me.
And guess what? I'm going to show you how you didn't pay attention. You didn't pay attention, buddy. Let's go.
Any of these people that were enslaved, right? That they're saying when these people were enslaved there in Galveston, prove to me that they're actually from Africa.
Here's my proof. The Texas Times, Galveston, Wednesday, November 16th, 1842. Now let's read it. All right. It says, in Mexico, the human species presents 4 great divisions, which comprehends 8 castes, namely aboriginal Indians. Number 2, Spaniards, born in Europe, Creoles, born in America. Number 3, Negroes, African slaves. Africans, slaves. Descendants of Negroes. So you can get that misclassification shit out of here. I'm going to show you that the people in Galveston, Wednesday, November 16th, 1842, I'm going to show you that these people knew who was who. So you can miss me with that. Oh, they misclassified the Indians as Africans. No, they didn't. This was before the Emancipation of Proclamation. This was before the African Americans in Galveston were freed 2.5 years after they were free. So they didn't even know they was free because the people in Texas kept that a secret. But the people in Galveston knew who was an African, who was a Negro, right? Who was mixed. Number 4, mixed castes, the offsprings of whites and Indians. Remember, I just made a video showing you that a lot of y'all running around here talking about, oh, y'all native because y'all got long hair. A lot of that shit is European DNA.
And the greatest percentage of our admixture comes from European ancestors.
It's the result of a white and a Negro. You see that? Mulattoes. The issue of whites and Negroes. That's where you got that European hair from. Zambos, arising from a mixture of Indians and Negroes. You see that? So they already knew who was who. It was Africans that were in Galveston. It was Indian slaves. It was mixed slaves. It was in African slaves. You just got debunked with a historical document. The Texas Times, Galveston, Wednesday, November 16th, 1842. Now you gotta hold this L, bruh. Hold it, hold it, hold it, and there's more to come. Let's go.
La-dee-dee, they la-dee-dum is dummy.
Yo, I really think this dude has something against African Americans, yo.
Saying so-called African Americans, they're putting that African tag on you again when we know that
They putting that African tag on you again. What do you have against Africa, Cootie Mayo? Huh? What do you have against Africa where you try to just erase all African history and claim it as native history?
I want to make sure you guys understand this big point here. Now it says here the first permanent European settlement on the island were constructed around 1816, not before that, 1816. So they wouldn't need labor to help them construct these settlements right before that. They wouldn't need slaves before that, right? Because they wasn't constructing anything there before that, right? I'm going to leave this in front of you real quick because I got a very logical, educated, historical question for believers of Pan-Africanism. For those who believe that all so-called black people were slaves, or just anybody who believes the mention of a person being called a slave, automatically you are assuming it's an African. Now it says here, act prohibiting importation of slaves. When did the U.S. stop importing supposedly slaves, right? They didn't say from African slaves, they say slaves here, right? It doesn't say importation of African slaves. It says the importation of any kind of slave, right? Any. So we're supposed to assume, yeah, well, that includes Africa, right? Curimeo. Well, either way, right? In your belief, right? In your belief, either way, the act prohibiting importation of slaves of 1807. Listen up, 1807. When was Galveston first settled? 1816. There was no more incoming slaves by 1816. Because
now let me debunk that. Let me debunk that real quick, all right? Let me show you and prove to you that they brought slaves with them the very same year that they settled the island. See, what you're doing is you're trying to say that the importation was invented in 1807. This is what you're saying, but you fail to realize that the Importation Act was created for the slave trade. It wasn't created for illegal slave trading, being a pirate. Watch this. These dudes don't even be knowing what they reading 9 out of 10 of the time. They don't know how to comprehend the information. They just know how to read it, but they don't know how to comprehend it. They need comprehension skills. So let me show you something. Let me show you this article. Let's get it. Alright. So this is real research. All that other stuff you doing, cherry picking stuff, that's not real research. Now, this is the East Texas Historical Journal. Alright. It says the origin and development of the African slave trade in Galveston, Texas. and surrounding areas from when 1816 to 1836. All right. Now let's see what it says. Okay. It says, let's blow it up some. Let's blow it up. Let's blow it up. All right. It says, the slave trade in Texas before 1836 can be divided into two periods. The first period extended from 1816 to 1821. So the first period was in 1816, not 1807. Remember, we are talking about pirates. In order for you to be a pirate, you have to do something that is illegal. That's when you become a pirate. If the law says you can ship as many Africans as you want, it's legal. But the moment you trade and bring in import slaves illegally, you are a pirate. So what is this dude talking about? It says the first period extended from 1816 to 1821, when pirates and revolutionaries roamed the Texas Gulf Coast plundering merchant ships. After 1821, the African trade languished in Texas until increasing demands for labor and greater opportunities for quick wealth encouraged some of the new Anglo-American colonists to enter this trade. It was done illegally. Cootie Mayo, you are not a scholar. This is why you stay in your echo chambers by yourself with nobody to challenge your information, just like lame Dane Calloway. The pirates and rogues who first used Galveston Island were looking for adventure and quick profits, while they passed as Mexican patriots. What were they seeking? Independence from Spanish oppression. Like there's articles, look at this, look all of this information, bro. This is historical shit. But look, right? You didn't provide none of the information that proves Africans were there. Look at the footnotes. Look at the citations, the Atlantic slave trade, a census, right? Look at this. Message from President of the United States communicating information of the proceeding of certain persons who took possession of Amelia and Galveston Islands. National Intelligence. Look at this. Look at all of these sources. The laws of Texas, 1822, 1897. So you just going to bypass all of this historical information. Look at that. Return to a dispatch. Marked slave trade number 1, 1843. Ben C. Stewart, slave ships, manuscripts, library. Bruh. That's why I say, in order for you to be a Pretendian, you have to deny science, you have to deny history, you have to deny records, you have to deny everything. In order to be a Pretendian, you have to literally cherry pick information and lie. You gotta be a liar in order to be a Pretendian. Let's keep going as I keep beating these pseudos up. Let's keep going. So now that we done beat them up on that, let's keep playing the video and see what else we can find. Let's just see if these are real historians or they just guys who cherry pick to fit their little aboriginal theory. Let's keep going.
Before that, right? Because they wasn't constructing anything there before that, right? I'm gonna leave this in front of you real quick because I got a very logical, educated, historical question for believers of Pan-Africanism. For those who believe that all so-called black people were slaves, or just anybody who believes the mention of a person being called a slave, automatically you are assuming it's an African. Now it says here, act prohibit.
Now I just showed y'all the 1842 newspaper where it said African, then it said slave, right? I just showed you that. Not only that, I'm going to show you that he deliberately didn't scroll down. He left out information. He didn't scroll down to show you what this Wikipedia said. So I'm going to show you guys how much of a liar Cootie Mayo is. He's a liar.
Prohibiting importation of slaves. When did the U.S. stop importing supposedly slaves, right? They didn't say from African slaves, they say slaves here, right? It doesn't say importation of African slaves.
That's because you didn't scroll down and show the rest of the article. You did what you did in the other video. You didn't scroll down. You left out information.
It says the importation of any kind of slave, right? Any. So we're supposed to assume, yeah, well, that includes Africa, right? Curimeo. Well, either way, right? In your belief.
And why would it be considered an importation if you was already here? Stupid. If you're saying that those natives were already there, right? They were already there. Why would they have to import them from somewhere else if they were already in Texas? You idiot. Checkmate.
Right? In your belief, either way, the act.
Because if you being imported from somewhere, obviously it's you wasn't already there. You just put your left foot and your right foot in your mouth. Just sometimes you just gotta listen.
Prohibiting importation of slaves of 1807. Listen up, 1807. When was Galveston first settled? 1816. There was no more incoming slaves.
That's why it's called a pirate. Everything they was doing in 1816 was illegal. Hello? Is anybody home? Knock, knock, knock. Is anybody there?
So Galveston was an important place. I have ties here in Galveston with family who worked on the docks, who worked in the cotton mill over there. And so there are so many people here in Galveston who were born according to the Middle Passage. Now you look at it and you think it only came to this part of America. It was a very lucrative trade, and especially when they were dealing with human cargo. There were people who have still making money because of their ancestors who had human cargo working for them for free. There are ties with banks and oil companies and all of that who are a part of this illicit and illegal trade. I do want to say that one of the most famous people that people will remember or recognize is Jean Lafitte. He was a pirate, and of course everybody knows about Jean Lafitte and his actions and the things that he did. Well, he was one of the biggest slave traders, but he was a hoodlum and had to be run out of town. So that's when he stopped his and went to somewhere else. But all along the Gulf Coast, you'll find Jean Lafitte. I trace my lineage back to Madagascar and to Senegal, Mali, Ghana, and to Benin. And I wondered how we got here. Once I started my research, now I know. And according to my research, there was one pirate whose name was Hugh Frater. And my family name is Frater. And Hugh Frater went to Barbados, and he went to Antigua, and Jamaica. And if you go to those places, you will find hundreds of freighters. And if you come to Texas and North Carolina, you'll find hundreds of freighters. So the Middle Passage is real. It is something that is quite interesting if you look into it. It's something that happened, and now we need to go forward from it and learn from what happened with the Middle Passage.
Pay attention, y'all. He's trying to say that it was the act of prohibiting importation of slaves was created in 1807. But then he said they were still bringing slaves in 1816. How? Illegally. They were considered pirates. Why is he acting like this was something that was illegal? It's confusing. He doesn't know how to comprehend information.
By 1816, if that's what you want to go with. Again, this act provided that no new slaves were permitted to be imported into the United States. It took effect on January 1st, 1808, the earliest date.
Now let me ask you a question, right? Why would they create an act if it wasn't no slaves being imported to America? Where are those slaves being imported from? Have you ever heard of the Dobbins Act? Prior to that, in the 1700s, it was another slave trading, transatlantic slave trade act, because of the extreme conditions. The Dobbins Act, look it up.
By the United States Constitution. You're right. So going back to the history of Galveston.
So we literally debunked. We debunked that. And see, the rest of the video was just him talking about those people. You get what I'm saying? He's just talking about those people. Oh, how they were dark. Of course they had color. Of course they had color. But that don't mean that they are you. And a lot of those people of color were just a mixture of African and Native. It was just a mix. It was just a mix. Like him. I'm pretty sure he has African in him. He's a mixture of African and Native. This whole entire video.
Deprive them of their fishing grounds.
You see?
Coast tracks and
now, the whole video he didn't prove that those Indians were African. He didn't prove none of that. All he did the whole entire video was cherry pick.
Or Cajaguas, Carancajagua, Carancagua, Carancawa.
Carikawa. Nigga, shut up. Shut up. So, here's the article of the act prohibiting the importation of slaves, right? Now, he showed y'all this part right here. I'm going to show y'all how cunning these people are, right? But he didn't scroll down. No. I'm not going to scroll down. I'm not going to do that. It says, what does it say? It says, by 1775, Africans, both free and enslaved, made up 20% of the population in the 13 colonies, which made them the second largest ethnic group after English Americans. See, he cherry picks. I'm going to pick this. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to leave this out. I'm not going to show y'all this part. And he's finessing the hell out of his followers. During the Revolutionary War, the United Colonies all pledged to ban their involvement in the transatlantic slave trade. So this literally debunks all of those people saying that the transatlantic slave trade was a hoax. All of these laws in place. This is why I said, in order to be a Pretendian, you have to deny history, you have to deny DNA, you have to cherry pick, and you have to be plain out stupid and not know how to comprehend information. But you know what's crazy though? The simple fact that they can get on YouTube and say that these things never happened, but let you say something about those J people. Let you say that H never happened. See how fast your video would be deleted off of YouTube. But it's safe to say that the African Holocaust never happened. It's safe to say that Juneteenth was just a whole bunch of Indians being misclassified as Africans. It's safe to take Martin Luther King out of context and say things like we were already here, and take Malcolm X out of context and say we were aborigines, taking him out of context when he was saying aborigine to this planet. And just because you're black and you have pigmentation doesn't mean you are the same genetically. Do you want me to show you? There are colored natives that look Asian. They do not look like us.
Mom is our last fluent speaker now, since my dad's uncle, Felix Aicho, passed away. When I was growing up, I spoke English. I don't remember hearing Mom speaking the Wakchumni language. Mom worked in the fields. We picked a lot of fruit. And I think I missed a lot of school, but I don't know for sure.
So-called African Americans. Do you want me to show you the Mexicans? The many Mexicans where people think that they are Asian?
Hello everybody, I'm back with another video. So I was on TikTok watching some videos and I noticed some interesting topics that people were talking about. So some people were like, I'm indigenous, and they're like, I get confused for Asian. Or some people will be like, what do you get confused for, and so on. Or why do indigenous people look Asian?
Oh my god, I didn't expect this. Hey guys, today I'm very excited because I want to share my DNA test with you. I've been documenting everything, but first of all, let me tell you why I'm doing this. Honestly, I've never thought about doing a test because it wasn't something I was thinking a lot. But after opening this channel and after seeing a lot of people assuming my ethnicity, I decided to take it because it awoke my curiosity. And also because I made a video about why Mexicans look Asian. And it became very popular. And I was surprised to see a lot of interesting comments, and I appreciate them a lot. Thank you very much. But also, I saw a lot of people were assuming my ethnicity, which I thought was weird, to be honest. All Mexicans are different. There's no one kind of Mexican. So that's why I was surprised. But let me show you some comments about people assuming my ethnicity. And I think after reading them, It's going to be very interesting to show you my DNA results. This person is saying, you do have a Vietnamese parent. This other person is saying, yeah, she Filipino. I am Asian, Filipino, and look more Mexican than you. Winter is saying, you look Filipino, Indonesian, Malaysian, Vietnamese, Thai. Tam Tran is saying 50% Vietnamese. Brown Redman is saying, I'm betting you are indigenous. I also saw your comments, guys, and a lot of people were saying you should take a DNA test. So that's what I did. As I said, I've been documenting everything. So let's see. Oh my God! I didn't expect this. Okay, in this detailed information, it says that I'm sharing genes with Mexico Central. It doesn't surprise me at all, obviously, but also Peru and Ecuador.
Or Filipino, because it all goes back to that Asian ancestry. African Americans, we have African features, we have African genes, nappy hair. So you can get this shit out of here, man. Juneteenth is for African people, it's for Native people, it's for mixed people, it's for all people who were enslaved at that time and they were lied to. It's simple. If there were Indian slaves who were enslaved and it was a secret to them that they were free, with the Emancipation of Proclamation, they can celebrate. They can celebrate Juneteenth. Stop trying to steal African history, you liar! It's your brother YK The Truth. Hit that like button. I'm out. Peace.